What is up, you guys? Welcome back to another video. So today we're going to be discussing, should you buy a Honda CRX? So the first thing is the price of these cars. When I got this one, I paid $2,000 cash for it. The guy wanted $2,700 for it, and of course I lowballed him, and he said, I'll give you it for $2,000. I'll just throw the stock wheels back on. And I said, all right, that's fine. So that's how I got this one for such a good deal. And I'm not gonna lie, I feel like I really got lucky with that deal, because after that I could not find another CRX on Craigslist or OfferUp for a good price that was in good condition. If you go on Craigslist right now, you're probably gonna find two things, which would be a CRX that's in very good condition, but it's always overpriced. People want $8,000 for these cars. I get it. I mean, they are becoming more rare, but like 8,000, I don't think I'd spend 8,000 unless it's imported and right-hand drive and all that good stuff. And the other being a parted out CRX that they still want at least $3,000 for, and it's not even worth trying to pick it up because it's going to need a lot of work just to get that thing running. Now, this can be a factor depending on where you live. I live in Southern California, so the CRXs out here are usually pricey. If you stay in the Midwest, it could be a different price. I'm not too sure. I feel like out there, you're going to find a lot more CRXs with rust on like the quarter panel. So if you live out there, be sure to check on that before you purchase the car. Here's also something you should be looking out for just in general. You're going to notice there's something missing right here, and there's another thing missing on the top. That would be the sunroof and the SI badge. That's because this is the base model, you guys. If you're looking just to race these CRXs and have it for like a project car and you don't care that it's SI, I'd recommend just going with the base model. They're usually lighter. And if you can get lucky and you can find an HF model, that's even better. They're supposedly a couple 100 pounds lighter. I would run with that one. The next thing I want to talk about is the reliability on these cars. When I bought this one, it had 278,000 miles on the odometer. It was a single cam D15, I can't remember which one, but it was 60 horsepower. I took this car on a 100-mile drive and it did so well, didn't overheat or anything, and it still had over half a tank after the drive. So I think it just depends on if the car was messed with or not. But yeah, this one was reliable, and I'm pretty sure that engine would have still been running even 5 years later. This one does currently have a B swap, B18C Type R, but when I had a B16A in this car, that engine was super reliable. I remember I drove it for 8 hours a day for a few days. I was doing a delivery job, and it didn't give me any problems. I still had over half a tank as well. And that just goes to show you, these engines that Honda makes are super reliable. You can always count on them. Don't think that just because it's a Honda, it's always going to be breaking down. That's not always true. Next thing I'm going to talk about is the power on these cars. So when you get one of these, if it's stock, it's going to be maybe 90 horsepower. That's not bad considering how light the car is. You will eventually get bored of it and you're going to want to go for like a bigger engine, B swap, K swap, turbo, whatever. When you start thinking that way, that's when things start getting expensive, and you got to have deep pockets, guys. Like if you just want to run the car stock, single cam, or whatever motor came with it, that's perfectly fine as well. I would recommend that, especially if it's going to be your only car. You don't ever want a daily or project car. This was my daily for like 3 years, and it was the worst when I had to do the engine swaps, because this thing would be out and I wouldn't have a car, and I would just be having to ask for rides everywhere, and it wasn't fun. Now I want to discuss the fuel and the gas mileage on this car. So this is a B swap, so I'm pumping 91 octane into it. And where I live at in Southern California, the 91 octane costs about $3.25. So it does cost me around $30 to fill this thing up. I can't remember the size of the tank. It might be like 12 or 13 gallons. When it was a single cam, I would pump 87 octane, and that thing would fill up with like $20. It was magic. I don't know how it did it. And it would last forever. On the 91 octane, once you start cracking VTEC, your gas mileage goes out the window. I think it's like 25 city and 30 on the highway. It doesn't even matter, because you're probably going to get this car to go fast anyway. And that's the cool thing too. If you do get the single cam one, it's fun to drive a slow car fast, if that makes sense. I'm pretty sure you guys know where I'm going with this one. This car, and as well as all the other EFs, don't come with power steering. So you better be working out your forearms and start doing some curls or something. It's not too bad once the car's moving. So you can actually turn this car pretty easy. If you're parking it though, it does become a pain in the butt because you're moving the car slower. So now you have to use both arms to twist the wheel. It's pretty funny. And there's a 99% chance that if you buy one of these, the AC is going to be messed up on it. So that's another thing you got to look out for if you are buying one of these, but most of the time they don't even work. You could always roll the windows down, you'll be fine. So another thing I forgot to mention is these cars don't come with airbags. So if you're planning on having a safe car, don't get this car. In my opinion, I think you'll be fine. You just got to look out for who's driving around you, and hopefully everything works out. So now I want to cover how rare these cars are becoming. It didn't dawn on me until today. I realized this car is 30 years old. I did the math. I was tripping out. I couldn't even believe it. I got it when it was like 25. But yeah, that's a 30-year-old car, you guys. You got to think about that. Finding the OEM parts for these cars is becoming extremely difficult. And if you do find them, chances are they're going to be pricey. So be prepared for that as well. If you're going to buy the car to keep it pristine or try to make it all original, I would say go for it, because you don't see these cars on the streets too often in the stock form, especially where I live at. These things are all raced up. Everybody that has one instantly throws suspension, wheels, and engine swap. And that's okay. It makes the car more fun. But yeah, you got to learn to appreciate these cars as well. Here's one thing that is great about these cars is that there's so much aftermarket support for these cars. If you go online right now, you can find any kind of wheel, tire, steering wheel, seats, shifter, shift knob, hood, bumpers, whatever you want. Even a Lexan glass, like you can find it all for this car. So if you're ever feeling like swapping a part out or you just want to change it up, you can always find something for this car. Like this corner light and then this signal light, whatever that one is, I'm not sure. That's all eBay, and it's fairly cheap as well. I think it was like 20 bucks for both and maybe like 15 for the corners with the bulbs. And this hood is actually aftermarket as well. It had got hit a long time ago and I had to buy another one from a collision place. I think it was like 100 bucks for the hood. So there's always going to be parts around for these cars, even the stereo, whatever you want to do to this thing. I mean, I'm sure if you watch Pimp My Ride back in the day, you'll know like anything is possible. You can put a fish tank in the back. I'm just trying to be funny now. But overall, these are great cars to have. Like, even if you're not into Hondas, I would say still throw this one into your collection, regardless what kind of car guy you are. I feel like this is one of those cars that Honda could never replicate again. They did do the CRZ, but it doesn't even do any justice compared to this car. I could have dragged this video out a lot longer, but I chose not to. I just wanted to give you guys the basics so you know what to look for or what to look forward to if you do own one of these cars. So as for the answer, I'm going to say yes, you guys should buy this car. It's an awesome car, fun to drive regardless how fast it is. You turn a lot of heads when you're driving. People love these cars no matter where you go. Everyone's always complimenting it. It's crazy. I didn't think I was going to get that when I first got the car. But yeah, overall, I think you should definitely pick one of these up. If you can find one, send me a picture of it. I'd love to see it. And hopefully you find one in good condition, because that's one of those things that's hard to do these days. And don't get overwhelmed with what kind of power you should be going for at first. Just get the car, drive it, enjoy it while you have it, and then worry about the power stuff later on. All right, you guys, if you enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up, leave a comment down below, hit the subscribe button, share it with your friends, your homies, it don't matter. And I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace out.